What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to UAP Tuesday on the Big Thing. Thanks for joining us here today. Sean Kirkpatrick might be the end of days for him as far as his position goes. There are people who are saying he's on the outs. What's going to happen there? James Fox. We've talked about James Fox many times on this show. He's done some great documentaries. Well, he tweeted something out yesterday and said, they're trying to run me out of my gig. There's things happening. I can't talk about it just yet. By the time of the airing of this show, he might have explained more, but it was a little cryptic because I think he had to be. So we'll kind of dive into that and see what the deal is there. There's a few other videos and ideas, and there's a government website of more reports and things that you can do. Not the ones that we covered in the past, but there's some other things, and there have been more reports, and there's been almost like a declaration of things that we know some more interesting stuff is what the government is saying. So there's more information coming out, but it's the same thing. Right? When will we get the breaking news? When are we going to find out what's going down? This Kirkpatrick stuff is huge, though. It really is big because it kind of adds into the people kind of setting the tone for having the right people who want to get the answers. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more here today on the UAP show with myself and Mark Reilly. Thanks for joining us. If you're going to be in the Los Angeles Burbank area on December 2nd, you can see myself, Brett Sheridan, Coy Jandra, Winston A. Marshall, Chris Carr, Roxy Schreier, Kate Mulligan, all doing stand-up comedy at the Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, California. So we hope that you will join us. Also, the Patreon. That's right, Patreon right now. We are doing our very first episode with myself and Reilly, doing straight up questions from you guys. So if you are a patron over there, please submit your questions over at patreon.com/thebigthingshow. Once you join over there, we're taking your topics and going through them and kind of diving a little deeper as well. So you guys will have at least, I guess now, 6 episodes. All patrons will have 6 episodes. You have these 4 that we do plus the 2 that we do on Patreon. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, everybody. So hit that button. Help us get there. All right. Without any further ado, let's do it. It's me. It's Reilly. It's Big Thing. Come on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is UAP Tuesday. It's myself and Mark Yodius Reilly.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, happy to be here as always.
Yeah, happy to have you. Trying to do technical glitches here, Reilly. Technical glitches. You know, I had this stupid thing happen to me. I did a live stream on Monday, and my mouse just died on me right in the middle of the stream. So
I love it when it stops working in general.
But it was right. But I put up the picture for the live show, the comedy show, and it was covering the whole screen, so I couldn't turn it off. And it was like for like 5 minutes, I was laughing through the whole thing, but it was like,
just your disembodied voice.
Finally, and I started calling the mouse a rat. That's what it deserves.
Which it is.
Skunk. Anyway, so we've got things to talk about here today. I send you like I said, there's always things that are kind of popping in the zeitgeist inside the UAP stuff, and this is a very interesting topic, man, because things are really moving here. And here it is. Hold on. All right, this one comes from the Daily Mail, but it's pretty much all over the place. People are covering this thing. Yeah. Exclusive: Pentagon UFO Chief Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick will be replaced by the end of the year, as whistleblowers are now accusing him of lying to the public and ignoring witnesses. So this is whistleblowers, not just David Grusch.
Yeah.
A candidate shortlist to replace Dr. Kirkpatrick at the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, known as the AARO, has been interviewed, an ex-official told DailyMail.com. There are new UFO whistleblowers per one attorney. Don't want to go to Sean's AARO. Really knowledgeable UFO whistleblowers, people who have laid their hands on the equipment, as the attorney told the DailyMail.com, and they never did trust Sean. So, the Pentagon's UFO chief will resign by year's end amid a wave of complaints accusing him of making false statements about the whistleblowers and fostering an atmosphere of disinterest. 4 major candidates have been interviewed to replace the current director of the Pentagon's UFO office, Dr. Kirkpatrick, following months of heated public sparring between the former CIA physicist, the UFO whistleblowers, and activists. The Pentagon appears to have already made the decision on Kirkpatrick's unnamed successor, according to one former Pentagon official with past involvement in related UFO investigative programs who spoke with the Daily Mail. Given their public affairs track record, this ex-official said they may not put anything to the press until well after the change, but who knows, they may surprise us. The personal shift makes the culmination of months of accusations and counter-accusations traded between Kirkpatrick and the former intel officer David Grusch, who has alleged widespread illegalities stemming from a long-secret UFO program. This week, Grusch publicly accused Kirkpatrick of lying about his office efforts to investigate these claims, which had been laid out by Grusch last July under oath before Congress. Previously, Kirkpatrick has described Grusch's same testimony made before the House Oversight Committee as insulting to the officers of the Department of Defense and Intelligence community. But fellow UFO whistleblowers working with Grusch, some past and present DoD and intelligence community officers themselves, reportedly don't trust and never did trust Sean, according to attorney aiding their efforts. While the precise reason for his alleged departure remained murky, Kirkpatrick has faced public criticism from UFO enthusiasts and so-called disclosure advocates seeking government transparency on UFOs and aliens. A citizen petition calling for Dr. Kirkpatrick's immediate removal, hosted by Change.org, has gotten over 1,700 signatures since posting on October 22nd. The petition's author, Lisa Fine, accused Kirkpatrick of operating a secret committee which directs the Department of Defense All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office actions and public statements. They say that Dr. Kirkpatrick has repeatedly lied to the American people about a lack of evidence concerning UFOs, according to Fine, referencing the updated terminology for unidentified flying objects. So there's more to this, but I'm going to come back to it in a second because this is so much.
Yeah.
This is a major, major victory.
Yeah.
For if indeed, let me say this first, if he is indeed lying, as David Grusch and other whistleblowers are accusing him of, and he was very quick to jump and go, no, this is an insult. This is not right after those hearings and everything too.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people, like Jeremy Corbell, a lot of people coming after him right away. And remember, he posted that response on like LinkedIn. Do you remember that?
Yeah, right.
It was on like LinkedIn. It wasn't even like an official government statement. So this to me, Reilly, proves that the tide has changed dramatically, even though there are things that obviously, there's still a lot of pushback, as you saw the frustration with what's his face, Burchett, right?
Yes.
But it's because of people like Burchett and other people who are, Chuck Schumer and the people who are running this committee who are saying, all right, no more. If this guy's lying about it, get him out of there. Put someone else in there.
Yeah, I don't know about how much of a huge shift it might be, but it's definitely movement, and that's great. But it might take a while.
Yeah,
that's what worries me is that there's when things like this happen.
End
of the year, and there's also like mentioned in there, it's like we might not hear about it depending on who they tell, what they decide to do. It might be a few months. I don't know. This is beyond my pay grade when it comes to who they're going to put in there.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
But I like that it's coming out, and I like the fact that there are more people out there. Grusch is the name that stands out because we've been talking a lot about him lately. But there are more people out there going, look, he lied. Get him out of here.
Right, Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, and you're talking about Burchett out there. There's movement, Schumer, all these things. The tide is shifting in the House right now, whether, you like who's there at the top taking over. Hopefully this will now kind of lock some people in, because if this guy has been lying, it's not a good look.
Well, I mean,
get out.
It's the same look that's been going on since the 1940s.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly.
It just seems like people are finally going, no.
That's what I like
no more of that
it.
Because he's not the first, nor will he be the last of the people to say, no. You don't look this way where everything is. Look that way. And that's what he does. He goes, look that way. And this time they go, no, we're going to look right there. And he's like, no, but you should be looking that, like everybody told you. You should look that way. How come this isn't working? How come this isn't working? And
transparency.
Yes.
And that's what people are pushing for with this.
And the thing is that the right people are looking, to him, the wrong people now are looking into it, right? But the right people are looking into it because this is a thing now that people over the years have been, don't listen to that. That guy's crazy. Don't listen to that. Okay, you're saying he's crazy, so he must be crazy. If Kirkpatrick says that Grusch is crazy 10 years ago, then Grusch is crazy, and it doesn't count. Now, because at the right time, what they're doing now, it's like the thing that stood out to me was that the whistleblowers are not going to come forward. They said, look, basically, we're not going to come forward while this guy's running the joint.
Yeah.
When he's gone,
we'll talk.
We're coming, with the right person, we'll come forward. That alone is them going, well, get rid of this guy. Get rid of him. Who needs him? We'll put somebody else in there at this point. Get rid of him. If he's lying, and all the whistleblowers are saying he's lying, and there's a bunch of them, get rid of him. And so that is the interesting thing, because plus if they get that committee that we talked about last week, if they get this official committee for them to do it, plus the fact that they actually have the whistleblowers come forward now because Kirkpatrick is gone, this is a big step forward if they put someone in that position that also wants answers.
Yeah.
And I believe that they will. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
It's a gigantic Jenga set. You're talking about all that, and all the pieces have to be in place, because a lot of this is you're talking about the whistleblowers, and they're not trusting Kirkpatrick. Get out.
Right.
There's trust is got to be huge on this, because it is the question. I keep going back to it. We sit here every week and we talk about this, and to me it is so huge, the question, what is out there? Right. And so people are going to hold on to this as tightly as possible, and lie and look over here, look over here. Transparency is what so many people, and if the whistleblowers want to come forward, but they need the right people, we got to keep doing this then and get faster, or not faster, because that's impossible. It's just the Jenga. It's don't remove the wrong piece at the wrong time, because it could fall apart.
It's like cleansing. It's like the dirty parts of like a piece. It's like there's like these dirty parts, which are the secret holders. And it's like, you just scrub them out just a little bit. I mean, it's going to take a lot. There's a lot of dirt. It's a mess for 80 years.
It's old school government, I would think. I mean, old school government. Jesus, what do I know? But it just feels this old way of thinking that we base our movies on, whether it's Men in Black or just even more like, Deep Throat, and go in the dark parking structure and talk to somebody, and you might get killed because of it.
Right.
This is like, it just boggles the mind. I wonder how deep we can go, and I hope this is more movement than it seems to me. I think that's movement, but how big remains to be seen.
I wonder if that's also something that, because I think that I did see, and we'll get into James Fox's tweet in a second, but like before his tweet yesterday, he tweeted about this Kirkpatrick thing, and he said this is something that was coming. That he had heard about something, and other people said they had heard that this was coming, because this movement is getting significantly stronger, because, as we always say, it's becoming less of the it's still there.
Got to get rid of that stigma.
It's still there, but it's not in the way it's like, it's weird. It's like now there's a group of like I understand what you're talking about. I keep up on it. Like I know that it's less, it's there. It was like one person who like kind of, hey, I believe in UFOs. Oh, you do? How is everything else going with you, Cuckoo Pants Jones? and now it's more now it's more like, oh, you watched the hearings? What'd you? I went and I watched this. I did that. And then there's some people that still are like, oh yeah, okay, sure.
Do you remember? It was it Coast to Coast? It was like, and you probably weren't here at this time, because I was doing theater and in high school and going back and forth between Long Beach. I had a girlfriend up there from Long Beach to Orange County. Was a big, long drive. It's like 20, 30 minutes, depending on traffic. And late at night, there was this Coast to Coast. Ken Knapsack knows who I'm talking about, because California knows. Yeah. But it's this guy, and it would be UFO stories. And it would be guys calling in, and the stigma was...
Right.
I'm listening to it, eating that up.
Right.
I loved it.
Right.
And then years later would have my little experience. But it's that kind of feeling of like, what are we talking about? What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you believe this? Do you believe this? Now we're here. I mean, we are further along than there.
Dude, the fact that there's constant, I mean, granted, it's still not covered by the quote unquote major news networks, but you can find news stories on it on the internet everywhere. And that's the difference, right? Because like, as frustrating as it is that the main networks don't cover this, there are tons of networks that or outlets and places like, whether it's Daily Wire or other things, that are covering it all of the time. And you forget because it's just kind of engraved in your head because that's the way it always was that the TV was legit. But you forget that most people get their news, whether you're getting your news through Twitter or you're getting your news through wherever you're getting it online a lot of the times too. So you wonder, and it's still, when you go like whether it's News Nation or The Hill or these other things, like News Nation will have clips on the current news stories that all the major networks are covering, and they do fine. Some of them don't even crack 1,000 views on 1 million, but then every one of their UAP videos does extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason, because they're one of the few people that's covering it.
And I think there's a big contingent of people out there that want to believe.
Yeah.
You know, it's that X-Files poster with the UFO and the college dorms. I want to believe.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do, and they might probably check in, and maybe they see a story that then they come back around every once in a while. What's going on out there? My dad is always the perfect example I always bring up. He's like, I have that guy who talked to that kid who knows that general that has this picture. And it's the the UAP that he took a picture of a picture. It's funny. But it's legit. It needs to be covered. As long as there's some movement, we always said, it's like, are we going to sit around and talk? We'll do it once a month. No, there is something to talk about every week.
And I just love that statement that it makes with that, because usually it always seems like guys like Kirkpatrick, again, if it is indeed turns out factual that he has been lying and ignoring these whistleblowers, let's say that personally, I believe them, and I do think he's been lying, but I don't know for sure, but let's say he is. That is such a big step in, because these guys don't normally lose.
Yeah.
And the misinformation people normally don't lose. This is a major step.
It's interesting you bring that up. Yeah, it's the misinformation, the lie.
They always win.
It's just another lie comes up to cover that lie.
Right. Yeah. So
this is going to stop people from coming forward.
Well, or encourage people to
if they get rid of him.
If they get rid of him, because he's the guy who was running it was probably put there for a reason, and they're going to put someone new. But the difference is, though, not the difference, but the thing you have to look into it. We can't also pretend, at least I won't, that they're going to say, you know what, we're getting rid of this guy, and we're going to bring in the guy that's going to serve us.
Yeah,
you hope that that's the case, but what could also happen is they're going to just bring in a guy or a girl who is very entwined and knows the way it works, but they're going to play ball in the same way that those guys did in that meeting with Burchett, going, because Burchett was complimentary on them. He goes, look, there's government people doing their jobs, but they don't know anything. They were put in this place to, say, hey, lead them down this trail and lead them down that way. Now, who's to say the next person isn't going to do the same thing? But the question, the main thing you want to do is make sure that the whistleblowers that come through feel confident that they're going to be listened to, and not basically kind of chastised the way that Grusch was by Kirkpatrick. Like Grusch, he went after. So Grusch was like, well, Grusch is in a very interesting spot, right? Because when Bob Lazar came out, and back when during all those interviews back in the day, and he did his interviews as Dennis, and then he finally actually comes out and does his actual name, and for very long, and he's had people who are following him around and these things, and two, Bob Lazar comes up, and maybe people in this comment section will say one of two things: believe Bob Lazar, or Bob Lazar is lying through his teeth. It's usually the
one
two,
or the other.
It's one or the other a lot of times. And Bob Lazar, as he has now gotten more support as this thing starts to become bigger and become more mainstream, David Grusch, and also because of the proof kind of where David Grusch was recently, the background that he's had, and David Grusch is going to be one of the more premier figures that we've ever seen when it comes to this thing, because of the credibility.
Yeah,
he is beloved inside of this community overall because of what he's done.
He really got me into it. I mean, when you think about it,
because
his testimony really went,
right.
And then you can compare your own experiences. I always bring mine up, and then the video that we saw that we always bring up that we were watching on Collider Live, the Tic Tac video. Yeah. It's all of those combined, but David Grusch is the face for me.
And when you hear him talk again, like he's been on a few interviews since, and the way that he carries himself in general, but you can see where he was, especially because Kirkpatrick was the first one to kind of went after him, and then the reporter went after him, kind of trying to expose him by really going after him, basically saying this, a thing that he did it was cut out of the News Nation report, but in the News Nation interview, and they eventually showed it, he talked about his PTSD. He talked about it, but they didn't air that at the time. But then the reporter went after and tried to expose him with that, and that backfired on the reporter. And people were like, why in the world would that be anything that we would hold against this guy for? He was having problems at the time, and he's admitted he's gotten help. That was nothing, a complete nothing burger where it was. And he went after, and Grusch now is going after Kirkpatrick. What's he gonna do to that reporter? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and what I mean is he's just building more and more support because the people find what he's talking about as credible, and more whistleblowers are coming around him. People like he has a lot of support in that community. So I think Grusch is going to get more and more. I hate to use the word powerful, but
I hope. I wish I was as cheery. I feel like this will just, I feel like I'm glass half empty, which I'm not normally in life, but with this, the politics for it just worry me, especially with the circus. It's like you have to like walk by a 3-ring circus just to get to the other circus that this can be.
It's true, but like it is like, but what the bizarre thing is, as we've talked about, it's the one topic when they're talking about it that all of these lunatics inside of the Pentagon are on the same page.
Yeah, I know.
It's the one.
I hope
it seems like from that hearing, right?
Yeah.
And if this crew of Republicans and Democrats together during this time in the next, I don't know, 2 to 5 years,
oh boy,
break the story.
Yeah.
That A, we're not alone. B, people are reverse engineering stuff. It's a different ballgame for the entire government.
It would yes. If we're playing with monopoly money here, that would bring together a lot of people.
You would hope.
Yeah, I would think.
If it, and I think maybe that's part. But maybe that's also part of the reason why of the quietness or the secrecy, right? Because as they say, as they say sex sells, they say war sells and hate sells, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they don't necessarily want. They don't want the stuff that they've been covering up and all these different things. And it will, I mean, the one thing I was thinking about today, right, that does make me nervous because you can see this happening. What if they finally get into a room, it's Burchett and Luna and Mouskowitz and all these people, they get into a room, and the brass who's been hiding this for as long as they are say, okay, you guys keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing. Here's what this is. Let me show you. And they go, think we should tell the public? And then the public goes, and then they all go, no. Whatever it is, they go, no. And then they come out, oh, it was a wild goose chase and blah, blah, blah. It just terrifies me.
It's Bill Pullman's head on an alien.
but it terrifies me that kind of thing could happen.
I think about that all the time. Right. I mean, you see past presidents that come into office the first day, and when they leave, they're like almost a husk of their former self because
they age in like 3 months.
They age in 3 months because they learn the secrets.
Right.
This is what's happening.
Sleep.
This is what?
They also don't sleep.
They don't sleep. They don't, and I'm not saying that this is part of it. I'm just saying to know, like, the shit.
Just in general,
In general. So I worry about that all the time. It's like, okay, that what we have evidence of, is this,
right?
And you're like, oh God,
right? You want to tell people that? How do you think that's gonna play? You want to stop now, maybe?
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, maybe we should stop.
We don't know what
I don't know what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like that, I just have that fear that they're just going to go, okay, fine. Just bring them in a room and then tell him to shush afterwards. Because look, I mean, again, that's a paranoia thing in general, but you never know what they're going to pull. Case in point, the James Fox stuff.
Yeah.
All right, this is the video from James Fox, and this is what he posted today, and we'll talk about it after we play this. Here it is.
Hello, everybody. Sitting in my favorite spot. I hike up to this point pretty much daily. Think about my work and edits that I'm working on, how I'm putting the film together. But I'm writing this post because I've been holding something in for the last 6 months, dealing with career-related issues, the likes of which I've never experienced in my entire life. So challenging, it feels like someone's trying to extinguish my career. It's pretty terrifying. I'll probably be going public with it later this week. For legal reasons, I can't discuss it right now, but I wanted to give you all a heads up and thank you for all your support. It means the world to me.
So what the hell was that?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. To use like pretty terrifying is like, what?
Like, what is that? Like that could, I mean, that could be an array of different things. And right away we go to conspiracy and
Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black and those types of things. But it also could be something like some allegations or other things too. I don't know. And that maybe that he knows the last couple of months, and maybe that these particular things are being set up against him because he's getting too close, because he's gotten close. I mean, you look at the phenomenon, you look at Moment of Contact, you look at all these things that he's done. This is one of the guys that his nose is in it. I mean, we bring him up on the show, I think, once or twice a week, right? So he's in it. So the question is, what the hell is going on? Again, we tape this show on Mondays. So by the time we release this show, we could have more answers. He could have posted something, but he said probably towards the end of the week. So we'll find out a little more. Maybe we'll talk about it more on the next show. But that's the question. He's working on this movie. What is it? Is really right now it's kind of like speculation, but I wonder if it's like, again, like what's going to be weird is if you start hearing more people, like whether it's and then Jeremy Corbell comes out and says that he hasn't, but like if Jeremy Corbell says, well, I've got something that people are coming after me on, and then like the other podcasts that are out there that are covering it. Let's hope. I think we're okay.
What are they going to get
for us?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Close Encounters again?
Yeah.
Nuts.com.
They got all these DVDs over here that they could take.
That's right.
Some of them have aliens in them.
But you know what I mean? But it's like, this is a guy who's like really, I mean, he's interviewed Burchett. He's going through, and he's really in it. So he's got powerful friends too, though. So you mean,
has he uncovered something?
I don't know. That's the question.
That's the rabbit hole that I prefer not to go down, because you could just fill in any blank you want. Wait for the man to say what he's going to say, because I feel I worry, but I'm not going to worry.
Understood.
Kind of thing.
All right, before we move on to the next thing, I do want to tell you guys both about it's coming up. It's Christmas time, very, 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 very close.
Yes.
And that is both AG1 time and Manscaped. Let me tell you about both of them right now. It's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's a ball trimmer sent from space. Gentlemen, our friends over at Manscaped have been working day and night to bring you a below-the-waist grooming experience like none other with the brand new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. It's got the Lawnmower 5.0. This is a next-generation trimmer with interchangeable blade heads for whatever shave your mind can imagine. You got to upgrade your grooming game to the Ultrasphere this year by going to themanscaped.com for 20% and free shipping. Use that code Big Thing. High tech, low prices. Manscaped. I love Manscaped. You guys know we've been talking about Manscaped forever. Forever. We've been talking about Manscaped. And why wouldn't we be? I use it all of the time. It's great. Look, everyone's talking about AI right now, but to me, I think this is the biggest technological advancement the world has seen in the past decade, hands down. Every guy knows how scary it can be when you're going in for a close shave. You go down there and you're like, oh, here you go. Am I going to be one of those stories on the news? But I don't ever worry about that anymore with Manscaped. You can do whatever you want. Do in the bath. The Weed Whacker 2.0 also features skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in all the delicate holes. I love the nose trim ones. never going to look like my grandpa with the nose hairs coming out of the thing. I don't have to ever worry about that ever again. Get 20% off and free shipping, but you got to use that code, man. Big Thing. Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with that code Big Thing at manscaped.com. I can promise you, you've never seen a ball trimmer look like a spaceship before. Get yours today from our folks over at Manscaped. I always get excited when I get a chance to talk about AG1. You guys know, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know that I've been talking about them. I've been drinking them now for, it's got to be at least 2 years. I started drinking AG1. I think Brett Sheridan told me about it. I said, you can't mess around with this, man. You got to try it. And I did. And it's a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. I've heard so many different people now talking about it since we've been talking about it on this show and how much AG1 has helped them. I talk to you guys, a lot of you guys, when we talk to do my one-on-one sessions that I do with people that go, yeah, I started doing AG1 and I love it. It gives me the energy that I need. Parents, I found new parents love this stuff. But everybody loves it. And not only for me did I replace my multivitamin with AG1 because I was never the multivitamin guy. I would try it, and I was like, everyone's telling me, you got to do multivitamins, and I can't do that many vitamins. One scoop. I put it in a water bottle. I put it in a zoo cup. I shake it up. I'm good to go. I recommended AG1 to everybody, my friends, my family, you guys, and it's worked out. It's great. I get energy. I get a pep in my step. I love AG1, and you guys know how long I've been talking about it. People still, they'll tweet, and they'll X, whatever they X me, and they say, hey, AG1, you've been talking about it forever. I'm trying it today, and they never go back. AG1 is the supplement that I trust to provide the support that my body needs daily, and that's why they've been a partner for a long time now. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. But you have to go to drinkag1.com/big thing. Drinkag1.com/big thing. Check it out. All right. Thank you to our friends over at Manscaped and at ag1.com. As I mentioned to you guys, if you're brand new to the channel and you've just been here for maybe just a little bit watching this show, if you want to support the channel, if you're able to support the channel, the way to do that is to look at one of our wonderful sponsors, get one of our wonderful sponsors, and that helps us out. And plus, then you're getting yourself something pretty cool. All right, let me get to this next topic here, Reilly. All right, this one is pretty fascinating, and I think this is going to kind of be this might be the juice of this episode. This is from The Guardian. Starts with, we've uncovered some things. Pentagon's UFO online reporting tool launches.
Yes.
This move signals U.S. government slowly opening up about what it knows or doesn't about the UAPs. The Pentagon has launched an online reporting tool for certain encounters with unidentified anomalous phenomenon, formerly known as UFOs, in an expansion of its effort to be more transparent about its exploration of the unknown. Only current or formal federal employees or those with direct knowledge of U.S. government programs or activities related to UAP dating back to 1945 are so far eligible to use the secure form. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Which went live on Tuesday on the website of the Defense Department's somewhat blandly named All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And as I say every episode, why isn't this covered on the freaking news? Are you kidding me? This should be like a lead story everywhere. This is crazy. An option for the public to submit reports is coming soon, officials say, which to me is dangerous. The move signifies that the government is slowly moving closer to fulfilling its promise of complete openness about what it knows or doesn't about everything from strange flashes in the sky to the possibility of alien life and sightings of unusual flying craft. The launch of the tool follows the appointment last month of former Pentagon liaison Mark McNeary as NASA's first director of UAP research and the space agency's promise to harness a worldwide army of citizen sky watchers to improve its observations and analysis of the unfamiliar. The new form, Arrow says on its website, is intended as an initial point of contact. It is not intended for conveying potentially sensitive or classified information. Secondhand information about UAP or encounters, therefore, is not welcome. It says Sean Kirkpatrick, the director, or maybe former, of Arrow told reporters on Tuesday that firsthand knowledge, particularly of government-involved UAP programs, definitely is and will be treated sensitively and confident. This reporting mechanism that is on the website for people who think they have firsthand knowledge of clandestine programs that the government has been hiding, he said. If a pilot is flying around and he sees something in his airspace and he has to report it, that goes through the operational channels. Conspiracy theories about the level of government involvement and the knowledge of UFO and UAP research and programs have circulated for decades, from rumors of a secret government facility holding alien spacecraft and life forms at Area 51 to the fictionalization of the topic in popular TV programs such as The X-Files. Kirkpatrick said, those clinging to such beliefs are likely to be disappointed. Of course. Right. I currently have no evidence of any program having ever existed to do any sort of reverse engineering of any sort of extraterrestrial UAP program, he said. This plays back into the previous story, by the way. We do have a requirement by law to bring whistleblowers or other interviewees in who think that it does exist, and they may have information that pertains to that. Notably, he dangled the prospect of upcoming public dissemination of some information that has previously been kept secret. We've got a package of a lot of new material that we've got ready for release. We've uncovered some things that we have declassified, not just operational videos, but historical documents without giving details. He described it as educational material that will help inform the public. Okay, so hard to take it serious at the end there when Kirkpatrick's talking.
Right.
Especially when you just had this whole thing where we're like,
I'm like, don't believe him.
Don't believe him, right? And that's the whole thing.
This
is why he's also should resign, because no one's going to take him serious anymore anyway.
I was going to say,
he's a liar.
All of this is it's like
tables have turned, bucko.
Well, it's like you have this report and you're like, okay, we want to increase transparency, and then, by the way, this is this guy lying, and then we're going to take away skiff access, and we're going to do this. Right. It's like it's mixed signals. Yeah, I don't know what to believe.
But Kirkpatrick, though, this adds into that last article, in my opinion, is that there are so many people, credible people, that have come forward. Many people that we've talked about in this show over the last couple of weeks, talking about reverse engineering, and people who are higher up than Grusch, and people talking about these things, and people who didn't officially come forward through a hearing, but have been on the record talking about the exact programs, confirming what Grusch has said. Mm-hmm. And then this guy's like, oh, no. And it's like, but why are there tons of people saying this now? It's not just one guy. There's a bunch of people saying this now, and there have been for years. Mm-hmm. So they're all lying. You know, I just don't know about it. Then you shouldn't be the guy,
right?
If all these people know that it's true, or say that it's true, believe that it's true,
there's evidence leading to more information,
and they can show you where it is or tell you who it is, then we shouldn't be going, no, I don't know about that. But they're telling you. You do know about that because they're telling you about that. So what do you mean? And he's basically, this article is saying, well, that's giving these people the opportunity to do it. Well, they don't want to say it to you because they don't trust your ass.
Yeah, I don't.
So bye. Yeah. And so, but the bigger part of that article is the fact that they're doing this. Mm-hmm. Now, if they do get rid of Kirkpatrick and they do bring in somebody new that is monitoring this, and now the whistleblowers go, well, I'm going over to that site. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to spill everything.
Because that's the thing about this site. It's like you have to have that clearance first, right? To sign up,
to get in there,
to the anyone with the access back all the way to 1945.
Right.
That's insane to think, but that's great. That to increase transparency, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. I'm sure if they, and it's dependent on what they know and what they're going to want to put and what they want to share. And goes back to, we're always back chasing the frickin' tail. Right back to the point we made earlier when we're talking about, like, what if it's like serious shit? Yeah. And they, like, I'm not going to put it on this website
well, they said there's only there's some stuff that they're not, like, there's certain things that they're not going to put on there, but it's to report it. And it's also a way for people just kind of to get their stories out there in general. And people who have that type, look.
Well, it makes me think, too, we've talked about how many times somebody in the world, well, let's just keep it here for argument's sake, in the United States, sees something.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Now take all of those sightings and they go here. And then we take all of those sightings that are in here, and one of them is something.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people are out there?
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's very interesting to see how that is all going to play and how it will absolutely, I don't know if it's going to change when, more people feel like they have the confidence to do it, if they feel like they're being protected, if they feel like they're being listened to. And it is very, very interesting. It is.
Or it's that.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum of things that can happen,
But there's just so many people now. I think the question was always, especially before like 2019, before the New York Times article.
Yeah.
And before Harry Reid kind of started doing that stuff with Lou Elizondo and everything too, it's like the question I think would always be like, even if you're a ex-government official, like, well, who do I talk to?
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Right now, if I was somebody, I'm trying to, hey, can you get me in touch with David Grusch? Can I get in touch with Burchett? Can I get in touch with Luna?
Yeah,
Can I get in touch with MANSCAPED? There's people to get in touch with now.
Because really it is. I mean, it's like I keep bringing up my friend, who had his experiences, but my experience with him and what I've seen, it's like you don't think to go, I'm going to tell this person, this person, this person. It becomes your own lore.
Right.
It's like I'm walking around going, yeah, I saw some shit.
Right.
And that's it.
And that's really,
I didn't think anything. And then when those videos come out and when you have now Burchett and all these people, saying something and there's smoke where there's fire, all these things. I'm like, God, come on.
Well, that's why it does kind of lead back into when we said that with Corbell and what James Fox and what Lou Elizondo, what all these people have said is that there's something coming, right? There's more information coming. There's big news coming within the next year. And I wonder if this is all like the domino effect, like
that's what I'm wondering. When
Grusch comes out,
Fox,
the more whistleblowers, there's the Fox stuff, but there's the fact that they're getting rid of Kirkpatrick. They're doing these things and they're leading up to a certain thing. Like, is that like there needs to be things in place in order for it to happen? Is this like it's like the rebellion working against the empire? You know what I mean? Where it's like, look, there's little things that we need to do. This person needs to be removed out of their position, and we're going to essentially do to them what they did to us, and we're going to be able to say, make that person, if they're out of the way, we get so and so in there. If this person's out of the way, they'll let this thing happen. You know what I mean? It looks like that's what happens.
So at this point, Princess Leia has the plans, and she's escaping right now.
And the droids are on their way to Tatooine.
The droids are on the way to Tatooine. Yeah. That's where we are right now as far,
You know what I mean? Like that's really what it seems like. There's these little things, because don't think that they're not sitting behind the closed doors saying, look, we got to beat them at their own game. And why wouldn't you do that? It's like, you got to find out a way to do this, and how, like, I mean, maybe it's like a chess game. And because this is interesting to where they're like, okay, look, there's only so much. Maybe again, we goof around about the two guys who are like, well, maybe the time has come. We'll let people know what's going on. And it's like, well, give them a little bit. Tell Kirkpatrick to open up a website. Yeah. And put out the stuff, but just ignore it.
Yeah. No.
And now they can't. It's like
it's because it's the equivalent of Oppenheimer. It is. I mean, it's what we're dealing with is that monumental.
If it's indeed true.
Yeah. If it indeed is true.
Yeah.
But if you were to just, for me, take what is legitimately tangible that we have, evidence from across the board, like NASA, take what they said, the hearings. It's something, we don't know what it is.
Right.
Just whatever that is. That's an arms race. That's people wanting to figure that out, reverse engineer it,
that's what Grusch said.
Land first on the moon, all the different things that we've had in our history.
Yep.
That is the precedent being set, and that's why we're jumping through hoops.
Yeah.
All these people. That's what I feel is going on, and that they can hide behind the stigma. They can literally say, come on, like that.
But for how long?
For how many years ago? Remember, he comes out in the alien mask.
Yeah, right. And then that guy went back and retracted that.
Yes.
And he retracted it because he's like, yeah, I would do things differently now.
Yeah, right. Because you don't do that. Not with stuff like this, because
it adds to the stigma.
Yes, and it's something that is there.
Yeah.
If they're not telling us because it's earth shattering, you're just like, you don't want to sleep for the rest of your life, fine.
Right.
Here it is.
I am going to show a little later, because I didn't realize it. I mean, there was this interview that came out around 3 months ago that I'll show at the end, because we always do this thing where we watch some of the videos at the end of the show.
I love it.
We always watch the videos, and people have been enjoying it. So it's stuff that we look at whether or not we think that it's real or not real or whatever it is. There was a report that came out like 3 months ago about, there was like, you remember there was a few like an alien interrogation videos.
Yes.
So there was one that they said came out in like, was it 97? 97? I think 97 is when they said this video was from.
Uh-huh.
And then they had a guy on this show. The interviewer is a guy that's he's becoming more and more of a legit kind of podcaster, or at least someone that maybe he's always been legit, but it's someone that I've seen in interviewing some pretty big people and throughout it. But he had this guy on who is saying that this video is real, right?
Right.
And it's like this was like 3 months ago, and I didn't realize
that like
no, not that
he
one.
Was saying something?
No, there's no audio on it. There's no audio.
I love that one, impression of it.
That
too.
one was good. Though. That one was good. Well, because in that one, the interrogators are being dicks to the alien. In that one, they're just like, oh yeah, why? What else? What else do you think? He's like, and the alien's like, because they're gonna have more intelligence coming up. Oh yeah, what kind of intelligence, guy? it's so bad. That one's really bad. This one, I don't know. We'll show it at the end of the show. But
That's
I saw some guy reporting on or talking about it like a couple days ago, and I thought it was new, but it's like from 3 months ago, which still, it's interesting. So we'll play a little of the audio and we'll play a little of the video of the actual interview itself. But then there's a few other ones that came in. There's more of that San Diego stuff, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it was the people not realizing that the skydivers, the ones they keep doing it. So and I saw like even Greg Grunberg the other day was, UFO. It's like, no,
they probably Navy SEALs. That's where they live.
That's what they're saying.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
All right, so I got another thing we'll talk about in a second. And before I do also want to tell you guys both about Rocket Money and KAJABI. If you're a creator on YouTube or in general or just anything, it's super helpful. I'll tell you about both right now. I keep telling you guys about Rocket Money. I love Rocket Money. And if you're not familiar with what it is, I started using them a long time ago. They were under a different name at the time, but now they're Rocket Money. And basically what it is everybody signs up to those things like, hey, try this for 30 days, and then it's free, and then you'll be paying for the rest of your life and not even realize that you're paying for it. And that happens to us. We get subscriptions, we forget about them, and then you pay twice sometimes. You don't even realize it. Rocket Money, for me, it canceled subscriptions for me. It said, hey, listen, these are all the things that you signed up for, dopey. It didn't call me dopey. I call myself dopey. But they said, hey, listen, you signed up for this, and you shouldn't if you don't want to, so let us cancel for you. And that's exactly what they did. And it lets me know about subscription prices and all the streaming stuff. And now with all the strikes, as they're coming to an end and there's new deals that are being made, the streaming prices are going up. And they say, hey, there's an increase to all these things. Be wary of it. It tells you how much you're spending per month. It tells you all these different things. It tells you your credit score. It tells you everything. And it's been so helpful to me. It's a personal finance app. It helps, it finds, it cancels unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills in one place. It has over 5 million users, and it keeps going up. Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Manage your money the easy way. Go to rocketmoney.com/thing. rocketmoney.com/thing. One more time. rocketmoney.com/thing. For creators out there, a lot of different creators out there. And I want to tell you guys about KAJABI. I want to tell you about them right now. I'm excited to tell you about them because if you didn't know, I think, look, I've been doing this creator thing for a long time. And what everybody strives to do is you want to be able to make enough to earn a living doing what you love. So KAJABI makes it easy, actually, to diversify your revenue. You can build your own brand. You can turn your audience into customers. Now, with the disruption of revenue streams from algorithm updates and product changes, if you're a creator and you don't use KAJABI to diversify your income beyond ad revenue and brand deals, you're leaving money on the table. And this is very true. Look, I told you, I'm planning on making a move. This is like this is my family, man. I'm everything. So this is something great. Earning a living directly from your audience is one of the most sustainable ways for creators to build a business. And you don't need a huge following to do it on Kajabi. You just don't. Creators and entrepreneurs value full ownership and control over their brand. With Kajabi, you have 100% autonomy with free customizable templates that you can make on your own, even if you're not tech savvy, and you keep what you earn. You don't have a huge audience, doesn't matter. You don't need it to make a sustainable income. There are thousands of creators on Kajabi making 6 and 7 figures with less than 50,000 followers. Try Kajabi and join the creators and entrepreneurs who have earned over $6 billion. Right now, Kajabi is offering a 30-day free trial to start your own business if you go to kajabi.com/big thing. KAJABI.com/big thing. Go to kajabi.com/big thing and earn more doing what you love. All right. Thank you to our friends both at Kajabi and for Rocket Money. Rocket Money to me has been a lifesaver, and Kajabi has helped me with my channel tremendously over the last month or so. So thank you. Thank you for both of them. Once again, if you're able to, you have the means to, you want to support the channel, please check out one of our wonderful sponsors here today. The link's in the description, and I always pin all of the sponsors as the first comment in the comment section. Okay, moving on. All right, Reilly, I want to play a little bit of this. This is from The Hill. They had a little report on more UFO sightings and NORAD denying that it deployed jets to intercept UAPs, even though other sources say otherwise. Here it is, and I'll play this and we'll talk about it. I'm not gonna play this whole thing because it's over 11 minutes, but we'll talk about some of it.
More UFO secrets? According to investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, 3 sources have told him that there was an undisclosed encounter over the Arctic Circle on February 1st, 2023, with NORAD organizing fighter jets being sent to take the object down, 3 days before the Chinese spy balloon was shot down in U.S. airspace. Let's watch.
3 sources tell me there was an earlier, publicly undisclosed incident over the Arctic Circle on the 1st of February. 3 days before the Chinese balloon shoot-down. These defence and intelligence sources revealing to News Nation 8 or 9 UAPs were detected over the Arctic Circle and that fighter jets were sent up in what was an unsuccessful attempt to intercept them. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence Christopher Mellon has independently confirmed the same story.
Fighter jets were deployed from NORAD to engage with those objects, and that they were seen to manoeuvre away, apparently at high speed. Have you heard those allegations? I've heard it now from 3 different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, and from an individual who would have plausible reason to know. But this really speaks to a much larger issue, which is the lack of information from the Air Force about UAP generally.
Let's hear some more on this same incident.
Did they find the object, the pieces of the object they shot down?
No, ma'am, they did not. In fact, it's a continuing mystery. 6 months on, the public's been told nothing. We've been told that they didn't find anything, even though the New York Times and other institutions were reporting at the time that the sea ice was frozen and that it was quite clear, there was very clear open conditions that day. The conditions were perfect for recovery. And moreover, it was reported in media that there was something anomalous about the Alaska object in particular. This is an ongoing mystery, Elizabeth. We just don't know, and I think the public's got a right to know what happened, and the Pentagon has indicated it's soon about to start releasing some of the shoot-down vision.
NORAD has denied the incident, saying the jets were on a training operation. So I don't know what to make of this.
All right, let's stop with that. Because that to me that's the story.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of when the sources deployed some jets to go to intercept, but they couldn't find anything. I'm like, yeah, that sucker got out of there. It's like, took off.
Either got out of there or they did one of those things where they're just like, oh,
one
we didn't find it,
possibility.
or we didn't find anything, and then like all the other things they haven't found that they've been testing for years,
Or there's footage,
or there's footage, or there's other things. It's like. So it's interesting how more because Coulthart is another one who is he's the one who did the interview with David Grusch. He was the one who broke that story there, and he's very much, and his nose is really in it when it comes to these things. And this is a story he's, I think, really passionate about right now, and he's been chasing down. So the dude that he's talking, was his name Maloney? Is that the guy he was talking to?
Yeah.
That was a name that I saw thrown around taking Kirkpatrick's position. I don't know if he's even up for it. I don't know, but I mean, it's maybe just somebody had put it out there and said, "Hey, this guy should be running it." Maybe just because they like the guy. I don't know, but
it's insane to think it was a few days before
the Chinese
balloon.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You know, I don't know. With all of this, it's like over the Arctic Circle.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
How much is?
I know.
This is just one of those things, real or not. Sources, people can say, oh, I made up sources and all this. Right. That's one of the things that can be thrown out back at people. But this is so, like, for me, again, legit, credible people talking about this. But it all seems to follow the same kind of stuff that we've been talking about.
The Air Force is as much in this whole cover-up thing as anyone else.
They're the ones that are seeing most of this.
Yeah,
right?
Like
they have to be. The
how
Navy.
Many times? Think about that Texas case, the one that they covered in Encounters, the one that they covered in the documentary we watched. It's been covered many times over. Of like,
it's following the same thing.
We saw jets. Oh, we didn't have any jets. There were no jets. Oh, wait. Actually, we did have some jets. It was a training exercise.
Same deal here.
It's the same thing. It's a training exercise.
Training exercise.
No. There was nothing. Oh no. Yeah, it was a training exercise.
You mean 3 days before the Chinese spy balloon? You were doing a training exercise?
Right. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, they're on the call. Training exercise. Got it.
It's an alien. It's always an alien just in there.
They're playing poker.
Yeah,
the aliens are
training exercise.
It's the same guy from the interrogation.
Yeah,
and he's just like
he's always
they're
standing
buddies.
in the back.
They're buddies now, and he's just like, tell them it's an interrogation.
He's playing Pong.
Oh
on his
it's
phone.
an interrogation, huh? Why is it an interrogation?
I mean, I just say it out loud, which is really funny to do. They were having a training exercise 3 days before they saw the Chinese air balloon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. It's always a training exercise. There's explosions out in it was an exercise. It was the nuclear things. It was an exercise. It was a training exercise. It was a.
I saw I think that's Godzilla coming out of the Pacific, and some jets went over there. Training exercise.
Yeah.
Hawaii's gone.
Training exercise. Training exercise.
I mean, that's it. Are you? I'm not surprised. We're getting to the point, and social media is just screwing. It's causing things in front of you are not what they seem anymore.
That's the problem. Yeah, it is.
You're getting to the point where it's like, the sky turned purple. No, it didn't.
Well, it's funny because the thing is, some of these videos that we're going to show in just a second here, 10, 15 years ago, if the same videos were shown, you'd believe that it was real.
Oh, 100%.
But because the technology is so good now, it's like you look at this, like, because there's two sides of it. Like, I'll play the video of the alien interrogation thing, and it's like
I really want to see.
I know, and it's like, because
we have to have fun sometimes.
Yes, and we're both gonna do the same thing, which we're being a little hypocritical in a certain aspect if it turns out this thing's real, because right away we're going, because they're like, okay, they interviewed an alien. But this is...
I'm always ready to believe.
Right. And so the video is it's interesting. It's interesting. So I'm gonna play the video of the alien interrogation thing. This is from this podcast, and I'll give the guy his due when I bring it up too, because he's an interview. You guys seen him if you're following the space.
And it is being purported as real.
You'll hear it. Okay. I'll play the video now. Hold on. All right, Reilly. This is from the Redacted Podcast, and a lot of people. This guy, I'm not sure his name, but he's everywhere. He's interviewed tons of people in this community, and this is I'll play. There's going to be kind of jump cuts, I guess, throughout this because this is a 40-minute interview that I'm not playing the whole thing. I'm just going to go little spots. Here you go.
Report now here at Redacted. The film that you are about to see is jaw-dropping, and it was passed over by the New York Times. The New York Times had an opportunity to run this story, and they didn't. And we are here now at Redacted going to run this story. We're going to show you this unbelievable film in just a moment. But what's more astonishing, however, might be the cover-up and the secrecy of this top-secret film. My guest today is Jon Stewart, former candidate for Illinois governor and U.S. Congress. He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top-secret film, which we're about to show you. and what you are about to see. And it purportedly shows an alien, an extraterrestrial biological entity being interrogated at the S2 facility in 1997 by members of the U.S. military. Yes, an alien creature being interrogated by members of the U.S. military. And just a few weeks ago, our guest, Jon Stewart, hand-delivered his entire investigation to Congressman Tim Burchett's office. And he's become the first non-government civilian to submit a report to the United States Congress regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. And Jon joins us now. Jon, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here on Redacted. So we're going to show this film in a minute, and it's about 2 minutes and 57 seconds long, this film from 1997.
Have you seen this yet?
No.
I'm going to walk through it, and you're going to explain to our viewers
is
exactly
crazy.
what we're seeing, but I do want to provide some context
The
here
fact that he
on
gave it
how,
to Burchett is
this
pretty
film
crazy.
came to be, how you got your hands on this film.
I want to hear Burchett's opinion on
and
this.
The cover-up surrounding this film. So how did you first learn
This is what I
about
wanna hear.
this interrogation that took place at 1997 at the S2 facility?
This is important.
Like most people back in 1997, this was part of, or this was a documentary that came out. And I was living this baller lifestyle. I had a black Porsche, a powerboat on Lake Michigan, living in the 36th floor of one of the hottest real estate markets and areas in Chicago. And I say that not to impress anybody, but to impress upon people. I go to sit down and watch this documentary thinking alien interview. This is going to be like a weird humanoid looking person handing a clipboard over to a general at the Pentagon for a job interview. I mean, this is how my brain was thinking. And I'm sitting down, and 30 minutes into this documentary, this footage comes on. It's not professionally done. It doesn't have any cuts. There's people in the foreshadow. This gray alien is bone color, bone, like human bone. It's got round eyes, not almond-shaped eyes. If I'm hoaxing a video of a gray alien, it's going to be gray, and it's going to have the typical almond eyes. And this bizarre physiological monitor next to the beam that goes up and down and not across the screen. And then Victor, the alleged whistleblower who claimed to have helped smuggle this out of Area 51, that's the way insiders talk of Area 51. And I had a psychologist tell me that I've probably encountered 10,000 people in my life with wrestling and in the automobile industry and in politics. I've never heard anyone this intelligent in my life, and I don't think a 23-year-old screenwriter in '96 could have made up this script that Victor was talking about. I mean, the vernacular he used was bizarre, and he used a term called medical flagging. The creature starts to medically flag. And I asked my old doctor, who was about 65 years old at the time in '97, on my annual checkup, I said, "What is medically flagging?" He looked at me. He goes, "Where did you hear that from? That's like a Army medical term we used in the 50s and 60s." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what is going on here?" And then there was some weird an acronym on the bottom, DNI, David November Igloo /27. And Victor tells us that was the Department of Naval Intelligence. So I run for Congress 2 years later with this film in the back of my mind going, what is going on here? And I don't want to say his name anymore because I'm getting admonished for doing so, but I was on a political bus tour, and I went up to a senator during a break, and who has passed away now. And I said, "Senator, what is the Department of Naval Intelligence?" And Clayton, you look in my eyes. This guy went from jovial, happy senator to this aggressive look. And he looked at me and goes, "You don't need to know anything about that." And he stormed off, and he never talked to me the rest of the tour, which was a weekend. And I'm thinking to myself, and Clayton, you're a journalist, you're an investigative reporter too. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got a hoaxed video with medical terminology from 50s and 60s. I've got a gray alien that's tan and round eyes, medical staff that are in short sleeve scrubs and not in biohazard suits to really hide.
And the verification of that, all of that processing there, the New York Times piece of this, them saying, "We believe you, we believe the veracity of this." So you have all of that. Now, let's play the film.
All right. So this is the actual film itself. And so this guy, the New York Times apparently believed him. He turned this into, again, this is a 3-month-old video. There's more people haven't been talking about this, but Burchett and everybody already has this footage. So here's the actual footage itself, Reilly, right?
Okay.
So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray, designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 Alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the Alien Interrogation and Retention Program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grusch coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions.
He actually has said that.
And,
Yeah.
So this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it. And because I've seen the outline of the figure, and I didn't catch this, and someone else did, so I'm crediting them. I don't ever want to not credit other people. That Colin Powell was in that interview room. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I can't verify it, but it certainly looks like the outline of him. It looks like an African-American male in his 50s wearing an Army Class A dress uniform. Funny, the Rear Admiral that was on my list was the person that reported intelligence to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Interesting. But that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room.
All right, that's just like a portion of that. Like, I mean, you can watch the full interview. I'll leave it on.
For a while, I was like, what the hell am I looking at? Until I couldn't tell until they got
in his face
up in on that alien.
Yeah, it's like, so I mean, I don't know. It's like, again, it's like this, but this is where you jump into those.
It's hard.
It's hard because there's going to be people who look at that from this video and they go, all right, that's just too far. I'll listen to you guys when it talks about the UAP stuff and what the hell is it in the sky. And fine, Harloff, you saw something bouncing around the sky, and Reilly, you did too. Okay, fine. But come on.
Yeah. And that's where
and it's fair. Mm-hmm. But the only thing I'd like to get Burchett's response to this video, because you get this. Here's this guy who ran for governor, wherever he is, and so his story is, and there's probably more to the story, but the story is that a guy who worked at Area 51 smuggled this thing out. The video out. Okay. Smuggled the video out, gets the video out, gets it to him. The New York Times looked at it, say it's pretty valid. They don't say it's not valid, but they don't do a story on it.
Yeah.
Right. And then he turns it into Burchett and everybody else. Now, here's the craziest thing. Let's say, again, hypothetically, that they get rid of Kirkpatrick, they get somebody else in there, they get their committee, they get all this stuff, they get the new whistleblowers coming forward, they get a new hearing, and then at the hearing, Burchett goes, "This was submitted to us. We have been investigating it, looking at it, and we can confirm this is an actual video." Then people would lose their minds.
Yes.
They would lose their minds.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, you look at this, it's great.
I was wondering if you were going to go the other way. We have confirmed that this is false. And this is, we want to be transparent.
Right.
This was made by Steven Spielberg.
But why bring that up at a hearing, though, is the thing.
Right.
You know, it's because they're, you know, but or don't even, you wouldn't bring it up. You just wouldn't. I mean, if they can confirm that it is valid, and they can play it, and they can have people there. The fact, I mean, the fact that Colin Powell was in the room,
allegedly, right? That's what they're saying,
right? Allegedly,
it is hard for me to really go there too. It is hard.
Right.
I see that. I go, all right, fine. I'm looking at an alien, maybe, perhaps.
Right. It's just hard.
It's hard to step over that line. I need more than that.
Yeah.
I need it's you know, it's like
you need the confirmation.
What is this? We're sitting here, two guys looking at internet videos, and
I know
it's real.
That's what I mean.
I can't go there.
I know. I get it, and I understand that, and I think that's fair. And I
if you're talking to
go,
people come out and they say this is real,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I can't go there either because, and I think that's what it, and not this video, but other let's say other videos. Let's say this video is legit. But there's other videos that have been legit that people go, "This is legit," and then they go, "No, it's not," and then everybody else goes, "Oh, okay, well they said it's not, so it's not." So what they're hoping is like, okay, great, Maury stole the tape, and which tape did he steal? One of them. Which one? The one from '97. Oh, he stole that one. Well, what is he going to do with it? He's probably going to put it on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? They're going to go, let him. What are people going to think that video was real?
I don't know. I think there could be two ways of thinking. I think if that's legit, that thing ain't getting out the door. And if it's going online, it's not there very long.
Well,
or whatever it may be. However it may be. I don't think it is that simple. I couldn't imagine them saying, it's the one that featuring Paul.
Right. I'm with you here. I just also want to cover because on the
love covering this stuff.
On the chance that they ever do play this and they say this one better than the cake bodies. This is it. And we go, hey, that's the video we talked about. And like right now,
look,
all right, real or fake?
Real fake.
Yeah, I'm gonna say fake.
Yeah, but you never know. And to put it into the entertainment vernacular, okay, at one point in all the stuff that I've done in my entertainment career, I said that Sony would never pair up with Disney to do Spider-Man.
right. And so you've known to be wrong from time
I have been wrong. This could come out and they could go, This is it. This is it. This is an alien. This is legit.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you guys after seeing that video, where do you stand? And by the way, if you feel that it is legitimate, no one here, especially us two idiots, are mocking you for saying so.
No, God, no.
Because I think there's tons of videos out there that people have gone, us included, that have gone, nah, I don't think so. That could eventually be like, no, that's real. That was our point to open that segment, is that there are things right now that, because of the way the internet is and because of the way people can make things look so legit, that it's like, it's just tough. It's just tough.
I could tell you to put it like the Tic Tac video.
Yeah, right.
Without context, without having it be tied to certain things like the New York Times article.
Right. You would go, what's that?
You could look at that and answer have the same thing, real or fake.
I don't know. Just like a dot flying around. Yeah, right.
It's probably fake.
Right. Now the flip side of that,
but
you
put
just
in
said, if you're like, there's a new interview with David Grusch, and David Grusch says one of the whistleblowers that he knows that is now has come forward is the guy that stole the tape.
Okay.
Then you're going, all right, maybe we should watch that tape again, right? Like right now we're like, I don't know, and I think it's fair to say I don't know. because
it's
fair.
hard.
It's
yeah.
hard.
It's
But there's other stuff we want to look at too. Let's look at this. All right, this is gonna be the last one we do for today. Now this is just the jets, flying something. And what are they flying past? Are they chasing something? Or are they escorting something? What is that?
I'll tell you what that is.
You know what that is?
Yeah, Kal-El has come home.
I don't know what that is.
I don't. What the hell is that?
Fighter jets escorting a UFO.
Sure.
What do you think it is? Is it man-made? I think the answer to that is yes. I think it is a man-made thing.
I think it's something.
I think that's a man-made thing that's probably a training exercise.
That's probably a bunch of Navy SEALs.
Something.
They're all holding together, flying through the air.
But that's the thing, man. It's like, that's one thing I will say, because I saw somebody say to us, because when we were talking about, and I should apologize too, because we did the thing where we saw, remember, I think they actually said that Bigfoot thing was a hoax, the one with the...
I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw in the community notes of the thing.
It was a hoax, right?
It's not a hoax. The whole thing it's a Bigfoot trail themed excursion.
Okay.
And that MFer dressed up in a Bigfoot costume, the owner of the thing.
Hilarious.
And walked out there to give people the experience.
Hilarious.
So people are taking pictures going, there he is.
Right.
He said, I see Bigfoot. And then it went out there
viral.
is real.
Okay. So,
yeah.
The apology that I have to say is this, though, because it turns out, like I said, he and I looked at this and said, I don't know. Don't believe that one. It's harder for us to believe Bigfoot because it's just, there's so many drones can fly around and eventually get.
We have eyes on the ground.
We have eyes on the ground. You can see stuff, right? Yeah. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to take away from people who have done because the one thing we've always said is we've been studying more about this stuff, the UAP stuff, and looking more into things too. And I don't want to be hypocritical where I'm saying to somebody, well, I don't know. And I haven't done any research on Bigfoot.
So somebody who has made their life,
somebody who really knows it, right? Somebody who has done the reports, somebody who has watched certain documentaries, who has more information than we do on it, that could say, look, there's things that you guys just don't know about, which
I'm all for it.
Which very much could be accurate. So I don't want to take away from people's experience and people's beliefs in those things too, because I don't know enough about it. Right?
Okay.
I'll battle somebody if they say the Earth is flat. It's like, go to space. Look, it's a fucking ball.
I can't do that.
It goes like this. So I'm not going to give you credit on that. But when it comes to the
Loch Ness,
I don't know enough about it.
I don't either.
I'm not going to shit on ghosts and stuff and paranormal. I'm not going to tell you that what is less than what we think we know about this.
Well, that's social media. That was presented to everybody as this is real. This is we have captured footage of Bigfoot.
Right, and that's more so where we were coming from. Of just going that's just not. It's just not.
And then we had our debate about it, and then I saw it days later. I wanted to take a picture and send it to you, but then the algorithm ate it up, and I was somewhere on USC football. I don't know, but
understood. All right, look. So we had so much we talked about here today. Now, do you think this is a big move that Kirkpatrick is gone, or gonna be gone? What do you think is going on with James Fox? What do you think about that website? What do you think about that video that we showed? All that. Make sure your comments are known. Comment, please. It helps out the show tremendously. It lets people know that we're doing this show. Reilly, where can the people find you?
On the interwebs, at Reilly Around. See you there.
Check me out. All places at Kristian Harloff or The Big Thing Show. As I said before, if you are able to and you're going to be in the Burbank area on December 2nd, please come by and check us out. Reilly, you going to be there?
I'll be there, yeah.
Reilly will be there as well.
Check it out.
So make sure that you guys are there. Get those tickets. Links are below. Get our wonderful sponsors if you can do that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Once again, we're going to be doing an exclusive Patreon show for you guys as well on the UAP stuff. So head on over there. You want to leave some questions on Patreon to do that so we can do the next episode. We're going to do 2 of those a month. All right, for myself and Mark Reilly, we'll see you on the flip side, guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye.